Welcome back to another episode of the Arnie Abramyan Show. I speak on my behalf. I don't speak on behalf of the businesses or the boards or organizations I'm part of. This is only me talking shit to you. Not necessarily to you, per se, your thoughts. So, what are we going to discuss today? So much has been happening. A lot of people are in my DMs sending me messages about the mayor race in LA, about Caruso, about the LA politics, about DSA, the whole shebang. So we'll discuss, I'll break down some of the DSA candidates, how DSA operates. I'll break down Spencer, Karen Bass, and Raman, so you make the decision. I don't personally endorse people unless I know them and I know what they stand for. I will discuss people's good, bad, and in between and their behaviors, but I will not 100% get behind a candidate that I cannot 100% stand behind. Okay, so that's how I roll. We'll talk about family, kids, activities, outdoors, indoors. We'll talk about businesses. And during these times, 2026 has turned into a shit show. Thought we were going to have no more wars once we elected Trump. And here we are. We got more wars and more problems and more bills, and gas is up again. And we're braving, Gavin in California, where in reality, it's all a game and we're just being played. So let's get started. Let me break down DSA for you. DSA candidates. D should not be there. Anybody who disagrees with me is in fantasy land or is a socialist themselves because they're being exposed and they don't want to be exposed. There's no such thing as Democratic Socialists of America. Wake the fuck up, Democrats. They're using your name to come under your umbrella and they're going to break off the minute they have more market share. What they're doing is what DSA is doing, what the socialists are doing is they've taken over the organizations, the unions, and the labor boards one at a time. Just like the LA Federation. They took over that, remember? The Nori Martinez scandal and all the chaos that went on. Guess who benefited from that? DSA. Socialists did. So I'm going to call them SA, even though they're not SAs. We're going to not refer to them as DSA because DSA, I don't agree with the D. Socialists are coming in. That's how they dissolve America. That's how they break America down. And if you think America is the strongest country in the world, has been the strongest country in the world, you're in La La Land. You've bought into the American dream, the American brand, the best marketing company ever made. Land of the free, home of the brave, America, this picture they posted. America is nothing to what Russia used to be. The USSR was 1/3 of the world. Huge. They had resources. They had oil, minerals, power. I mean, even Hitler couldn't get to them. That's where, his war folded. Guess what happened? They broke down Russia. USSR literally got destroyed by the Zionists, by the Ashkenazi Jews, by the people that now claim Israel is their home, who are not from Israel, who are not Semites, but that's a whole different conversation. So the reason why I say that is we need to wake up as Americans. America is a beautiful country. It was set on Christian values. Now all the, evangelicalist Christians, all the Christians nowadays that act as Christians are now fighting for Israel, sending their sons and daughters to die for Israel. What benefit does that do to America? What do we get out of it? So for us to really be aware of where we are in the world, where we are in a geopolitical war, where we are in a power as far as electricity, minerals, oil, water, where we are in the AI era, we need to really understand who we are as a people. America is divided more than ever. America is not going to unite anytime soon. And while we're divided, we are conquered. So socialists will be building ground. Eventually, once they get more market share, more people are going to go into their organizations and join them because they can't beat them at that time, because it will become a snowstorm and it'll become a snowball effect where they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Why? Because they're organized. Go to DSA's website. So let me break it down to you. DSA has their own candidates. Why did they not endorse Raman? Nithya Raman was not endorsed by DSA because, not because she's not a DSA or SA agent or SA candidate. They did not endorse her because the endorsement window was closed when she announced she's running for mayor. She announced it last minute. And that's a sneaky move. They kind of are going under Karen Bass. They backstabbed Karen Bass. And now they're trying to kick Karen out because they figured everybody is going to vote for that other person, anyone but Karen Bass. So this brings us to the city council and mayoral votes or mayoral candidates. DSA or SA has, Socialists have LA City Council District 1, Eunisses Hernandez. They have Council District 9, Eduardo Mazariegos. They also, here's a funny one that everybody keeps saying, oh, well, she's not DSA, she's not DSA, you're just talking shit. Faiza Malik, Council District 11. She's against Tracy Park. You couldn't vote for a worse candidate than Malik. Vote for Tracy. If you live in the Venice and West LA, Palisades, Tracy Park is your candidate. Take my word for it. She's made huge changes since the last council member who destroyed Venice and destroyed the West Side. And Tracy has her heart in the right place, her mind in the right place. She knows what she's doing for the people, by the people, with the people. So highly recommend Tracy. And then there's this douche, Hugo Soto-Martinez. I don't know what to tell you about Hugo. You know, he talks about his humbling roots. And let me tell you something about the DSA, SA. What they do is they pick Latinos and Latinas to be part of their team because that confuses the Latino voters. The Latino voters don't know that there's a difference between a Republican, a Democrat, and a socialist. They may know the difference between Republican and Democrat, maybe, because now everybody's running, you know, they're on their own. People vote for their own people, right? So if they're voting Latinos, they're voting Latinos. They don't know the difference between socialist Latino and a Democrat Latino. So that is the reason why socialists are getting it. Now, Hugo, he's destroying Hollywood. He's destroying his district. And it's sad because his district is one of the biggest tourist attraction in the world. Not in LA, not in America, not in California. In the fucking world, everybody knows Hollywood. But you can't even take a relative down to Hollywood Boulevard and to see the stars because you don't see no more stars. You see the homeless on the boulevard and you see food carts on the boulevard. While these, you know, residential and commercial tenants pay top-notch rent, they got all these people homeless living for free and they got food carts on the boulevard. Why is that wrong? Well, let me tell you why it's wrong. If a guy's paying $10 to $15 a square foot to be on Hollywood Boulevard and there's a food cart that does not pay rent as in front of his business, one, it just looks shitty. Two, the food cart doesn't pay rent, so they're undercutting his customers. And three, come on, it's Hollywood Boulevard. You're supposed to go there to see movie stars. You're supposed to bump into celebrities and models and actors and producers, not crackheads and all these illegal food vendings and all these homeless people that are just asking for money. So, yeah, Hugo, he's done his fair share to destroy LA. And he's going to stay there. I mean, he's got a pretty smile. He's got some people that support him. DSA's up his ass. Yeah, that's one of their golden boys. This brings us to the LA City Attorney race. Marissa Roy. Marissa is running against Heidi. Heidi is our current LA City Attorney. Heidi has been doing a great job. She's fair. She's reasonable. She's not over the top one way or the other. So if you're voting for a city attorney, vote for Heidi. Heidi will continue to fight the good fight. I like what she's been doing. She listens to her constituents. She's fair. She's across the board. Nobody's perfect, but people who do their best, they have their heart in their right place, and they're always thriving to do better is what matters. So definitely vote for Heidi. Don't vote for the other candidate. If you don't know who to vote for, I would say go to the DSA.LA.org website, go to their website, whatever candidate they have, vote for the other candidate. Now, DSA does not stop there. DSA also has LA Unified School District board members that they're endorsing. They endorse judges, they endorse city attorneys and counties and district attorneys. The reason why is because if they own the judge, if they got the judge elected, because I guarantee you a lot of the people out there voting for a judge have zero idea which judge to vote for. Judges are not known. So if you're Asian, you vote for the Asian one. If you're Latino, you vote for the Latino one. 99% of voters in America and in Los Angeles and in California have zero idea of probably 70 to 90% of the people on the ballot. They might like Trump. Oh, I'm a Republican. I'm going to vote everything Republican. I like Trump, so I'm going to vote that. Oh, I like Biden. I'm going to vote all that, and I'm going to vote everything Democrat. That's what's wrong with the world. That's why I'm center. That's why I'm in the middle. I call both sides out on their shit. I support the ones that are solid folks. Doesn't matter. There are no sides. That's what Americans need to realize. We are humans. We are Americans. We are one. But while Republicans and Democrats fight, socialists are sneaking in. They're coming in hot, and they're taking over seats, and they're going to take over LA one position at a time, one union at a time, one city, at council seat, and now they're trying to take over the mayoral race. So let's talk about the mayoral race. Raman, horrible. She was indoctrinated, Harvard status, like top of the line. She's not your average, just, Indian chick that is trying to live the immigrant dream. She's pretty well off. She's got a rich husband. She lives pretty much, she's got a mansion in the hood type of thing, $2 million home on top of the hill. She lives very well. And now she wants to be mayor. Well, why do they want her mayor, and why are they not happy with Karen Bass? Well, Karen Bass supports law enforcement. Karen Bass has been endorsed by the LAPP, I believe, the Los Angeles Police League and the PPL. So the union, police union, LAPD's union, has endorsed Karen Bass. She has been good to the LAPD. As much as other people want to talk shit, you got to give people credit where credit is due. Karen Bass has been good with the law enforcement. She is trying to build the LAPD up. She is hard on crime, not tough on crime. She's that mom, basically, in the hood. She wants to make sure the hood is safe. She wants to make sure LA is safe. So anyone that says Karen Bass doesn't support LAPD is wrong. Look at the facts. Maybe 5 years ago she didn't. We're talking about today. If I was to judge you from the mistakes you made 5 years ago, or one thing you said 5 years ago, and hold you to your grave to that one sentence, is what's going to destroy you and myself. If I have no arguments 5 years later, then that means I've lost that argument. Now, Karen Bass, Nithya Raman are going at each other. Why? You have the DSA as a candidate. You have Karen Bass, who's the incumbent. And then you have Spencer. You have a few other mayoral candidates that'll probably get 3 to 10% of the votes. So let me break it down to you. So if you were to technically have just those three, you would have 33% of the votes. Let's just take 3 off each one. So we're down to 30% of the votes for each one. Chances are 2 of those 3 are going to come up to go to the primary election. What's going to happen there is we're going to end up having a runoff. Usually if there was 2 solid people, one might get 50 plus 1 and you won't have a runoff. So this mayoral race will most likely get a runoff, which brings us to Spencer. Spencer is driven by anger. He's driven by pain. Pain is a mask for anger. He's hurt. Anger is a mask for pain. He's hurt. His parents' house burned down. His house burned down. He's mad. And more power to him, and rightfully so. However, I'm a numbers guy. I look at the race and think to myself, okay, you had Rick Caruso, billionaire, who spent $200-300 million on his race. And you have Spencer. And Rick could not beat Karen Bass. Do the math. If Rick could not beat Karen Bass, and Rick is not endorsing Spencer, That's just one big component player. What are the chances that Spencer has? Well, where Spencer sits right now is he's got the Republican vote. He may get the Palisades, Malibu, people's houses that burned down. They may support him. And so he's sitting at about 25 to 35% of voters. About 25 to 30% are Republican that'll most likely vote for Spencer because they won't vote for Karen Bass or Nithya Raman. And then you have an extra 5-7% of people that will probably vote for him. So chances of Spencer coming in first or second is up there. Now, the real battleground comes down to Karen Bass and Nithya Raman. Are there enough people to vote for Nithya Raman? Are there enough people that hate Karen Bass that will vote for Nithya Raman? Are there enough Latinos and blacks that will vote for Nithya Raman versus Karen Bass? So you have to look at the playground and the voter guide, right? And certain ethnic groups, certain religions vote a certain way. And no matter what we say, no matter how much proof there is, Nithya Raman, I don't know how attractive her name is, how attractive she is to the voter. I could tell you that essays will lie to you, DSAs, and they'll tell you that she's the perfect thing. She wants tenants' rights, and she wants blah, 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 blah. She blamed Toyota for their catalytic converters being stolen. Let me tell you something. If you're not tough on crime, it could be Toyota, Chevy, Ford, or anything else. Thieves are going to steal until they get busted, and they have to pay for it. So that's the problem with people that are not tough on crime. Politicians. We have to understand that today we want to elect a mayor that is very knowledgeable, not just driven by anger or pain or frustration. That's literally the reason why everybody joins a race. Something happened to them. It happened to them in their backyard. It affected their personal life. Now they're mad. The not in my backyard, system. Every time I used to go and tell people, hey, we have illegal food vendors. They're bad for business. They're bad for the community. And I didn't give a shit what their legal status was as an individual. I cared about the fair playing field. If someone's selling food illegally, meaning without a health permit, without a building permit, without an industrial waste permit, without a public works permit, without the sanitation permit, that's what I call illegal business. I don't give a shit if they're Armenian selling kebabs or Mexican selling tacos or whoever or whatever. That wasn't the point. The point is we need to regulate those. And now they're out of control. So now they're coming up with new policies of micro in-home baking, and you can only sell 90 dishes a week. Who's fucking counting? Who fucking comes up with these rules and laws? Seriously, these health inspectors and health decision makers are dumber than the dumbest rock you could find. They're coming up with an idea that you could do it out of your house so that people don't do it on the street. And then they give a stand down order to all their inspectors, which I have emails from. And they're saying that don't enforce. It's for ICE. If you enforce the health code, the people may think you're the ICE agent came to arrest them. What kind of bullshit is that? You got to enforce the laws that are in the books. There's so many reasons why. ADA access, federal, city, state regulation, path of travel, constitutional violation where someone that's blind can't go down a sidewalk because, they literally got propanes and open flames and the whole sidewalk blocked off. Not counting unfair competition for the restaurant down the street that had to go through all the hoops and loops and all the permits and everything the LA puts you through to open up a business. And we're going to reward the guy that does it illegally, doesn't pay rent, doesn't pay bills, doesn't pay electricity bill, waste bill, nothing. And we're going to punish the guy that does it right. This is the message LA is sending. So there's 3 people I want to speak to in the mayor race. 1, Spencer. Spencer, if Rick Caruso could not beat Karen Bass, what makes you think you could beat her? And I get your pain and I get your anger. And you're coming out here with these videos, oh, basura, basura, ba, ba, ba. You may it sound cool to you. Dude, you're not getting any new voters. You're not attracting new people by talking shit to her. You need the Latino voters. Just because you talk trash to someone doesn't make you a nice guy or a better guy. Plus, all your conversations has been, what is wrong with LA? And quite frankly, my man, I'm fucking sick of talking about what's wrong with LA. It's how we actually change it. How does a fucking actor know what the fuck to do? And I say this bluntly because everybody's all of a sudden a politician. And that's why LA is the mess it is. And so is California. Now, I'm not saying you don't know, or you might not know, or you may not find a way. What makes you think 4 years is enough to do it? And what if you had a fire that came through, right? So if it was Karen Bass or Rick Caruso or anyone else and that fire came through and that reservoir was empty, they'd be in the same shithole that Karen Bass was in. So I'm not mad at her for the fire and even in being in Ghana because obviously she didn't know the fire's coming to burn and everything's going to burn down, right? It's how she handled the fire system and everything that I'm a little more upset with. But Spencer, you need to up your game, my man. Let's say you come in first or second against Karen Bass or first or second against Nithya Raman. Who's going to vote for you? You get 30% of the votes and you go to the runoff. How do you attract the other 30% of the votes that vote for roughly, I'm talking roughly numbers, 30-40% of the votes in order to win the election? Why would people, Latinos, African Americans, immigrants, Armenians, vote for you in a runoff against Karen Bass or a runoff against Nithya Raman? You have to think about that. I think you're too short-sighted and your anger is blurring your judgment and you're not really focusing on your campaign as a whole from the beginning to end. So doing all these interviews, podcasts is amazing. It's great. It gives you the opportunity to speak about your pain, what you see wrong with LA. But just don't tell me what's wrong with LA. Tell me how you're going to fix it. How are you actually going to fix it? That's like walking into my house, telling me that I have a hole in my roof and my roof is leaking. I could have told you that. I fucking live in the house, right? And it's leaking on my head. So I could have told you that we have a leak in the roof. Tell me how you're going to fix it. How? Because talk is cheap. It's easy to say, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do that. Once you get in, you realize how much red tape there is, how much problematics there are, how difficult it is. I used to be upset until I showed up to some of these council meetings and committee meetings. There are bleeding hearts that sue the city and LAPD not to enforce the city codes and laws on homeless because they're homeless. Not to tow RVs because that is their home and you can't tow someone's home without giving them an eviction notice. Did you guys know about that? Did you know that there's attorneys that sue the city and win? You didn't, did you? Or if you did you take that into consideration? That also brings us to Nithya Raman, who highly supports defunding the LAPD, who supports all the BS there is. Guess what happened with George Floyd and all the BLM riots? It reinstated the DSA status in LA and all across America. That's what they did. They tested the people. They reinstated the whole shift of the paradigm shift to the poor, the victim mentality. However, you know who got rich off it? The attorneys for DSA and all these people, protesters. They tell you the LAPD budget is high, but they don't tell you why. Hugo, Eunisses, Nithya, everybody will tell you, oh, you know, LAPD is paying all these lawsuits. Well, who's suing LAPD? It was all because of the BLM riots that all these people in full-blown gear were protesting and weren't really there protesting with one sign up and saying, hey, I believe in this. They were there in freaking full gear fighting cops, throwing bombs at cops and rocks at cops and bottles and everything. And then they got arrested and now they got a lawyer and they sued the city of LA, and it's cheaper to settle with these douches than it is to fight it in court, right? So that is why LAPD has a high, or one of the reasons, because all those lawsuits are coming to fruition this past 2, 3, 4 years. So that is the reason why they have a lot of payouts. I'm not saying we have angels as cops. Believe me, I do understand there's rotten apples in every organization. I do understand there's people that are, badge hungry, or they think they're cop, they're the shit. I agree, disagree with all that. I've been through the system. I've been arrested by them. I've gone through the county jail process. I've seen the other side. So if you think I haven't been there, I've been there. I've seen it. The problem we have today is enforcement of current laws. We don't need more laws. We need to enforce them. We need to take the handcuffs off law enforcement and city and state organizations. We need to be not just tough on crime. That's cheap. We need to set the standards. So all the jailhouse attorneys, they know what's up. They know what city attorney is in, who's calling the shots, who's good, who's bad, who's weak, who's easy. And that's what's happening. When they know that we're not tough on crime, they know that they can get away with it. Our businesses got broken into 6 times in less than 3 months. We haven't gotten broken into in the past year since Nathan Hoffman took office. Since Gascon was a piece of shit. You got out the minute you broke. Commercial burglaries, people were getting out. Why do you think all these people started just breaking into places? Because they got away. The crime was too rewarding versus doing the time. But once you send the message that you play games, you go to jail, people don't play games. They don't. Criminals are not stupid. We humans are just like any other animal. We assess danger. We assess risk. And if it's too risky, chances are we're not going to take that risk. The reward has to be worth the risk. So let's talk about the reward and the risk of elections. Educate yourself. Find a friend. Find someone that knows what they're talking about. You can actually go to these candidates' forums. You can go to candidate gatherings and discuss and participate. Get involved. It impacts your life. Don't wait for your house to burn down before you start saying something. Don't wait for your parents' house to burn down before you decide to get involved, even though that's the human nature. When I used to go to people and say, hey, we're getting broken into, oh, well, that's your businesses, that's why. And then when their business got broken into, hey, bro, the cops are not responding, what can I do? Nothing, asshole. Sit there and drink your tea, right? However, we need to unite as a business community, as Angelinos. We need to send a message. Since we're divided, our message is not loud and clear. We're all divided in so many ways, from religion to class to communities to associations to affiliations. I mean, it's ridiculous what's happening to LA. So for your next mayor race, I will break down more of what's coming, what's happening. Highly recommend either voting for Spencer or Karen Bass. As bad as you may think Karen Bass is, she's 1,000 times better than Nithya Raman. Nithya Raman should be your last vote. Anybody who thinks Nithya Raman is qualified to be mayor has not seen the destruction she's done to the council district she represents currently. And she's a plant. She was planted there from the get-go. And LA, if you're stupid enough to not participate, you deserve what you get. It's as simple as that. Stay tuned. We're talking more about LA politics, family life, and the challenges we face today.